everyone, I'm back. So now we are going to cook our Play-Doh. Okay, so I have my apron on, and that's going to help us. I'm going to move my camera a little bit here. There, I think that's a better angle. And I will sit. So the best thing to do when you're cooking your Play-Doh is to have a glass bowl that's a decent size when you're mixing it up. So it's got a lot of salt and the coloring. So if you're using a plastic if you're going to use the microwave in a plastic microwavable bowl, which you can use instead of a hot skillet like I have here. You'll want to use a microwavable plastic bowl, one that you'll only use for like Play-Doh and crafts. But other than that, glass cleans up really well. So those are my suggestions, just to make sure you're not ruining stuff that you have in your kitchen. Okay, so following our recipe, first we're going to put in a cup of flour. And then with young children, I would say I would assign roles. So you would be the flour person, the salt, the cream of tartar, and then I have them help. And then we come up with stirring, taking turns stirring. So one thing is I want to pat my flour down. You want to make sure that you get one level cup. So you get a little bit of flour on your table. That's okay. You can scoop that back in later. You might need that when you're kneading the Play-Doh. Sometimes you have to add a little bit of flour when you're kneading. Okay, now like I said, next, so that was 1 cup, 1 level cup of flour. Next is half a cup of salt. So I'm dumping my salt in here. And again, we want it to be level, so I have to pat that down. Okay, and then I'm dumping that into my bowl. Okay. And then next is the cream of tartar. And again, this is the optional one. It's a preserving agent. I've used it, like I've seen people use it when they do pickling things, lemon meringue pies, stuff like that. So it's not used often. And if you don't have it or can't find it, it is a little pricey. I think for this size of cream of tartar, I paid like $4 or $5. So it's one thing that you can skip. So we want to do teaspoon, which if you can see on my little 4, teaspoon is lowercase t. That's a good thing to show children. Tablespoon will be capital T. So we're using our lowercase t, teaspoon. And we want 3 level teaspoons. So I'm kind of using my lid to level that off and then dumping it in. So that's 1. And I usually have the kids and we count together. So 1, we need 3, right? So what comes after 1? 2. Right? 3. Okay, so there's our 3 teaspoons of cream of tartar. So now I'm going to move that to the side. Now we need 1 cup of water, right? So I have my cup measuring here, and I'm using a pitcher. If you use pitchers, that's friendlier for children, to kind of help you with that so they can help pouring. So here's my 1 cup of water. So first I'm going to mix my dry ingredients together. So I'm going to stand up. Mix these. Okay. Next, I'm adding the water. We're going to mix that in. And then we got to get our oil. So you can use any oil that you have. You just need 1 tablespoon. So again, that's the capital T on that, if you can see that. Sometimes I take a permanent marker and, make that a little bit darker. So I want 1 tablespoon of oil. So again, mostly flour and salt. Cream of tartar is optional. So I'm going to add my color here in a moment. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do this color today, the blue. And The one preschool where I was the infant and toddler director, we would make Play-Doh at least once a month, if not more. And the kids knew, and so we would always remind them, like, you will have the flower job next time. You know, these are things that can kind of help you solve problems as they arise. So don't panic, stay calm, be prepared, and then just remind them, like, next week or next, you know, we'll make another batch and so-and-so gets to do this job. So now I added my color. See how easy that was? When you add the color from the Kool-Aid packet, you're not messing with that liquid of the food coloring, right? And that can stain your clothes and it can stain your hands for a couple days, which isn't the end of the world. But I do know some children that are sensory sensitive, you know, that can really upset them. And you don't want that either. So that is why I love using the powdered drink mixes. But again, it has to be sugar-free, okay? You can't, sugar in the recipe ruins everything. I've had people tell me, well, all I had was a drink mix of color that had some sugar in it and it was all sticky. So don't use the ones with sugar. They don't work, okay? So now I have my hot plate. It's over here in a safe place. When I use my hot plate with children, I talk to them first about, I'm turning it on. We can only touch and hold on to the black dark handle. Everywhere else is hot, okay? So that's very important. All right, so now I'm pouring in the whole batch. So I'm just making like a giant pancake. That's what I tell the kids. We're making like a giant pancake to start, right? So we just dump it all in our skillet. Now, at this time, if I wanted to, I could choose to use the microwave. With the cooking in the microwave, you want to cook in your bowl for a minute. Take the bowl out, stir, 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 and flip. Kind of like you're making, taking the pancake and you're going to chop it like you would scrambled eggs or ground beef. So that's the same kind of thing that we are going to do. So I'm going to set my bowl out of the way here. That's the same type of thing that we are going to do in the hot plate. And that's what we would do in our bowl if we're using the microwave. So again, in the microwave, it's like a minute. Take it out, chop, flip, you know, kind of have the kids. This is where, you know, I would have one kid, like, you hold your hand here, and then I would be supervising them. They would be standing in front of me and we would be, you know, chopping, you know, and then we would say, okay, how many? Let's count to 10. So we would all agree, the group. I would say try to do this with a group of 4 kids at a time, 4 to 6. And then, you know, so you would count to 10 or decide, okay, 1, 2, 5 chops per person, and then you switch them out. Just making sure that they have a part as you're doing this. So again, if you're cooking using a microwave, a minute, it'll probably be 3 to 4 minutes. So you're going to cook it a minute, take it out, chop, chop, stir, cook it another minute, take it out, chop, chop, stir. So for the most part, it's somewhere between 3 to 4 minutes, maybe possibly 5 minutes to get your liquid Play-Doh, which you saw, right? The liquid, and it will start changing into this. Okay, so this is what you want. You want to get all of that liquid to change to, the color is going to be darker. And as I'm chopping these pieces, I can see that there's still a little bit of liquid, okay? So I want to chop and I want to flip so that all of that is getting heated. And then I'm just going around my bowl or my hot plate and I'm rubbing, I'm going to show you, and I'm just picking up all of the pieces, okay? So like my giant pancake, I'm chopping, chopping, chopping. Here's some wet liquid, so I need to flip that, get that in, right? So I'm just chopping and cooking, okay? That's what you want. And then here in a minute, we're going to get to our final step, which is kneading. So this is where there's different kids that have different heat tolerances, you know, so I tell some kids, like, you know, you might want to tap on it. So this is where I chunk it off. Okay, so I'm making chunks. So if I have 6 kids, I'm going to make sure that I have about 6 equal chunks for them. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our hot plate and unplug it for safety. And then we are going to, and I tell them, like, we want to put a little bit of flour on our hands. Okay, and then we're going to tap it until our fingers accumulate to that heat or acclimate, right? We don't want to freak or panic. So that's what we want to do. Okay, so this is the awesome part where it's still not 100% Play-Doh yet. So it's not going to be Play-Doh until about 20 minutes from now, after I play with it. And then as it cools here in a couple hours, I want to make sure that I keep it in an airtight container. So that could be anything with a lid. It could be a Ziploc bag, or whatever type of, you know, plastic bag you have that you can tie off and keep it dry, or keep it from getting dried out. So I'm getting the rest of my pieces. I'm getting a little bit of that on my hands, and, you know, I'm a little bit used to the heat, so I can start grabbing it pretty soon. So just, you know, make sure that you warn kids that it's going to feel hot for a while. It stays warm for about 15 to 20 minutes. And on a cold winter day, this was one of the favorite things we would do in preschool. And then you can also add glitter, which is kind of fun. So you can add glitter into the recipe. When I added the Kool-Aid, Play-Doh, you know, we used to call it Barbie Play-Doh, Princess Play-Doh, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Play-Doh, whatever you want to name it. So I hope that you enjoyed my making Kool-Aid Play-Doh with you today. And I'm just going to get all of this stress out today in squeezing this. And I get to take this and play with some kids later, hopefully. And, you know, and I always, when I teach this in my classroom, usually in the spring, with my high school students that are, you know, learning and becoming early childhood educators, they usually love this experience, and they think about ways that they can do this with kids. So that's what I challenge you to do, is cook with kids. Don't be afraid. Practice yourself first, and you can do this. Okay, I showed you how easy. All right, so have a great day.